Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss Kim from Miss Kim's Children's Music, and this is my friend, Scully, who has been helping me with the Human Body series. Today is part 4 of the Human Body series, all about the respiratory system. Breathing in and breathing out, and the journey of air into our nose all the way to our lungs. And what's the purpose of the respiratory system? We're going to learn all about that today. But before we do, everybody take a deep breath. I'm so thankful that I could breathe every day. Stick around, we're going to have fun and learn a lot about the respiratory system. So Scully, how do you like those ribs of yours? They protect your lungs, and our lungs help us to breathe. We're going to talk about the respiratory system today, which is a network of muscles, organs, and tissues that help all of us to breathe every day. We take in a gas called oxygen, which we need very much, and then it filters through when we breathe out carbon dioxide that we don't need. All of this happens automatically. Do you remember when I told you earlier about involuntary and voluntary muscles? The voluntary muscles we can move ourselves, but the involuntary muscles, they just move by themselves. Well, that's what kind of muscles we have for our respiratory system, ones that just work by themselves. Isn't that fascinating? There are 3 main parts to our respiratory system that help us to breathe. There's the upper and the lower respiratory tract. The upper respiratory tract includes the nose and mouth, the pharynx and larynx, which is our voice box, as I told you earlier. The lower respiratory tract includes our trachea, which is the windpipe, the bronchial tree, which we talked about, and the lungs, which are behind the rib cage. Scully's modeling that right now. The last part is a muscle that works involuntarily all by itself called the diaphragm that helps us to breathe in and out. Here's a picture of where the diaphragm is. This is a muscle, and it helps us breathe in the much needed oxygen and breathe out that unwanted carbon dioxide. Cool! Alrighty, everyone. We're going to go on a journey and pretend that we are oxygen, okay? You ready? So on our journey of being oxygen, we're going to go in the nose. That's when we breathe, in the nose. And there are hairs in our nose. Take a look. These hairs filter out anything we do not need when the air then travels to our pharynx and our larynx, which is like a tube. Then it goes into the trachea, which is a windpipe. The oxygen is then going to journey and split off from the trachea into 2 tubes, which are called the right bronchi and the left bronchi, that lead to our lungs. Then from the bronchi, which are like big branches of a tree, it's kind of similar to a tree, that lead to smaller branches, just like a tree has smaller branches, and they call those in our lungs bronchioles. And the bronchioles lead to tiny sacs called alveoli, which then distribute the much needed oxygen to the bloodstream, which then distributes it to all of our organs so that we can live a happy and healthy lifestyle. So the journey starts with our nose, goes in our throat, our pharynx, our larynx, our windpipe, which is also called the trachea, into our bronchi, then into the bronchioles, then into the alveoli, which is within our lungs. And that's where air travels. Eventually, we expel it as carbon dioxide. It starts as oxygen. We can't even see the oxygen, and it's going on a journey. Isn't that cool? Hey, Scully, do you know what respiration is? Well, as I was explaining, it's the act of breathing in oxygen and then breathing out carbon dioxide. I don't know if you remember when I spoke about the digestive system. When we eat food, sometimes we don't need some of that food for vitamins and for our body, so it expels it as poop. Do you remember that? Same with oxygen. We filter it through our lungs, and whatever we don't need comes back out as carbon dioxide. Fun fact! Did you know trees in our world help us to breathe? They produce oxygen and they take our carbon dioxide and filter it back into oxygen. Super important the trees in our world are for us to live, and they help our respiratory system. Who knew? As I was telling you earlier, our respiratory system in our lungs, from the bronchi tubes to the bronchioles, look like an upside down tree. Check it out. Hey, Scully, Miss Kim has a joke. I bet you don't know the answer to. What did one lung say to the other, Scully?
We belong together.
It's good. He made a funny. Thanks, Scully. I got another one. What do you call someone who steals air from your lungs?
I don't know, Miss Kim. What?
Breathtaking! And I have to use my lungs in order to laugh. Isn't that awesome? Fun fact! Did you know we take 20,000 breaths a day and we never take a break? We're breathing all day and night. We don't even realize it. It just happens naturally. Another fun fact. Did you know that the right lung is larger than the left lung to accommodate the heart, which is slightly to the left? We can also breathe in 13 pints of air every minute, which is about 26 cups. That's a lot of cups. I'm not sure how we do it, but we're pretty fascinating, this body of ours. Fun fact! Did you know there's a guy named Stig Severinsen who could hold his breath for 22 minutes? You and I can probably only hold our breath for a minute without starting to turn blue. That's fascinating. He's a deep diver. He must have trained to become that great at holding his breath. Scully, I have a question for you. Why does the nose run and the feet smell?
I don't know, Miss Kim. Why?
I think the nose can run and smell, but the feet can also smell and run too. That's funny stuff. Do your feet smell? Does your nose run? Fun fact! Did you know that coughing and sneezing keeps your lungs clear from unknowing invaders that we might inhale? It helps to clear it out. It's like a protective mechanism. So anytime you see someone sneeze, they're trying to protect themselves from something that might have gotten into their lungs that we don't want in our lungs, right? And also yawning helps us to get more oxygen when we feel like we need more oxygen. So sometimes when you're yawning, it might not be that you're tired. It might mean that you have a shortage of oxygen in your brain. Deep breathing is so good for you. Quiz time! What is the air our body needs to survive called? Oxygen. Very good. Which of our two lungs is the larger, the right or the left? The right. Correct. How many breaths do we take every day? 20,000. That's right, children. Well done. I have one more joke to tell. What are the tiny sacs in an Italian's lung called? Ravioli. Do you get it?
Yeah, ravioli, like alveoli. Ha 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 ha.
Miss Kim would like to thank you, and Scully as well, for joining us today for part 4 of the Human Body series, The Respiratory System. We learned so much, and there's even more to learn. So if you want to learn more, go to your local library and learn more about this fascinating human body we have that we're carrying around with us every day. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Boom! Just like that.